Hello everyone, Agion here, another Steel Division Normandy 44 replay. Spawn on the bottom side as the allied, need to do this. On the left side as the allied players, we have Tiger Jack as spearhead. Looks like he's up north. On the bottom side, we have Dianno as the guard's armor. Over here as the ninth armor, we have Legionnaire, and Flaming Ass as Le Flamming. We've got looks like a large number of universal carriers, if I'm not mistaken. Most of them just a couple of reconnaissance. We do have a Cromwell 6. However, we do have mortars here to contend it at long range. So it's going to be a big clash down south. There's going to be a firefight in the town. And a lot of infantry up here. Probably maybe just Estros trooping. Can't really tell at the moment. It looks like the biggest clash is going to be here. A number of these guards, armor, and motor rifles are being deployed now, which they do have Piats, but Piats are pretty inaccurate. The half-tracks could suppress the infantry, but now we do have this rush going forward. No, it's not exactly a rush, just deploying, just based on this map, because there's this hedge grove right here. You got some firefights going off right here, as well as the Panzer 3, well, Panzer 1 will be firing now. And of course, Piats, they just miss. We do have a 6-pounder here to decisively push away these units. There's a lot of suppression from that Piat. Now there's prioritizing fire onto the 6-pounder, but those autocannons will suppress anything quickly. You have this Cromwell 6 in here engaging. We'll get some nice suppression. Had fired one shot, but it looks like we'll now on. And this rush looks like it'll be quite successful. A Humbar Mark IV is coming to reinforce. Over in the town, we do have a half-track going down. There is some Panzerstruck unit there. There is a mortar half-track here. And these are the 50 cal half-tracks. This one has 2 stars thanks to nearby officer. Over up north, just some Estros trooping, going to be not firing upon half-tracks. There is a scouts here, so if the Estros move a bit too close, they will probably get spotted. We do also have a command steward now moving forward. Over here, the half-tracks still becoming problematic. These 30 cals can provide some... Oh, wait, no, he's in advanced grenadier. In fact, at this moment, running up in here would be the best spot to prevent it from getting killed. Motor rifles will pitch in a Piat, forcing it to fall back. Piats are pretty inaccurate, so I won't see that going down soon at the moment. Anytime soon. He's trying to run it down, but this Panzer 1C will go ahead and start suppressing it. We'll actually cover the suppression, allowing him to fire off a Piat, and we'll roll another miss. Humbar is now engaging. That's more reliable, even at that range. As the Grenadiers are trying to move forward in order to gauge the half-track. And this hedge-grovey area is preventing the Cromwell 6 from getting any good hits, but anything that crawls along this hedge line will get suppressed instantly, pretty much. 2 Humbars are moving forward. They do have a very good gun, pretty good versus the autocannon units, as well as 1-star veterancy. Though you can always bring in the Cromwell 7, which is a very powerful thing in Battle Phase A, but of course more expensive and does not have reconnaissance optics. Basic defensive force here, we've got an M5 with some rifles and a leader. The leader is actually out in the open-ish area. Up north, I don't think any firefights has happened yet. Those scouts, these are not close enough in order to spot the Estros trooping. There's a attack beacon. He did lose the officer to the half-track. Half-track would generally win out versus the M5. Of course, it's really hard for me to tell that with hooking versus suppression. Yeah, sort of see the half-tracks didn't take much suppression. Well, the half-track has taken a fair amount. Some pioneers are now rushing forward, but they're getting, and these Fallschirmjäger suppressing rifles, so we do have a double team in the town now coming about. We do got, looks like Piat will actually connect. Actually, nope, that is a bazooka. That's why I hit. It's a bazooka, not a stupid Piat. We do have a Spitfire coming forward. These are equipped with 2 medium-sized bombs. Does get some very good HE damage on the Marauder 3. If you were to get a direct hit, and both of them gets directed, it can actually kill the Martyr 3 from full health. It looks like these sunbars do have reconnaissance optics to help spot these Panzer Grenadiers, but they have to make sure not to get too close. The sunbar had its main gun ammo destroyed. It's going to get that replenished, but yet it is still alive. So it's now trying to move forward, but it has to be very careful of the Panzer Grenadiers. The Panzer Grenadier easily run up this hedge line and get a Faust off. In fact, it's probably not too far away. 400 meters. Faust range is right around here, so it's not too far. Over our north side, still a whole lot of nothing. On the middle side, middle is a side, we do have the city control largely in favor of the Fallschirmjägers and SD44, but we do have a very good contingent here. A lot of half tracks, so he can line them up along this line, and it will pretty much deny firing from these houses. Auto phase B is available in 4 minutes. The field control is in favor of the Axis players, but only at a +1 rate. And only by a small margin. 52% is the magical number. Trying to get an angle in. There is a Sherman tank. Actually, this is a Sherman tank from his ally, as well as Stuart. Nice team support, but that Martyr 3 is going to fire off, but it will get destroyed first. And with 2 stars of Veterancy, that is a very powerful thing to have on the field. It's naturally has 1, but thanks to nearby Stuart, it is 2. You got a 203 unit out on the, not 203, a 210, which is a pretty nice weapon to have hauled in and out of town. The AT gun will go ahead and get picked off. It was not exactly a great position. Had received quite a bit of fire from the army rifles, but these army rifles, or armored rifles, should say, are only equipped with grains and carbines, so they're more similar to SD44, but they still have a bazooka. Really, the army rifle, these guys, they shouldn't cost 20. They should cost 15, I would say. You got a time on target onto this area. These half tracks may get destroyed easily. The army, these infantry units will probably be suppressed and perhaps get some seriously wounded. Get a nice hit there. Miss, large miss there. With a miss. I really don't use the 210 all too often. I usually just use the naval artillery, pretty much. Looks like the guards rifle, with the support of the US armor, is starting to make a breakthrough. However, it is a Panzerstreck unit as well as a number of Fausts. This area is a bit messy, but the guards rifle, having 2 SMGs, really does help out. Note that the other Martyr 3 is now moving forward, but he has to be a bit more defensive. Everything is pinned down except for this army rifles, which they're going to get flamed a bit. The only thing preventing the mass surrender and the mass collapse is this army rifles. And this Fallschirmjäger is now moving forward. You can test that. So another medium bombing run. Did hit the mortar half track, did not take it out. There is a Sturmpioneer here, so it can start flaming away these half tracks, but it looks like he's just going to drop off the motor rifles, push forward. However, it's in the back buildings, which actually means in this building, you are within minimum range. The flamethrowers do in fact have a minimum range. This is a poor position for the Sturmpioneers. Here is where it's not in the minimum range. Field control is 50-50, but the Axis players did in fact gain a little bit advantage, quite a bit of advantage at 500 tickets. Well, it looks like in 2v2s it's 51%, not 50. Well, 51%, not 52. I usually just play 1v1s. The times where auto match gives me a 2v2, I'm usually crushing my opponent and my team. I support my opponent so he can get a pretty good win as well. Battle Phase B has just been initiated. This will of course change the income from being Axis favored to still Axis favored by additional 15 from additional 15. But then again, the U.S. player can now bring in a Sherman Jumbo, and the Guards Armor guy can bring in a large number of Cromwell 7s. As well as a Firefly or 2. Or 3. I think you can bring up to 3. 1 Veterancy 1, 2 Veterancy 0. Yeah, there's the Ace Harris and 2 unvetted ones. These are standard rifles now moving forward. But they're a little bit outgunned. There's a lot of machine guns, a lot of MGs. Yeah, pull back. That's not going to work out too well. Cigar, he's an armor division. He may want to eye pushing forward in this area. Perhaps maybe at least send up the scout unit to see what there is. We do have a Panzer 35 moving forward, but we do have a bazooka hitting it. Though we did roll a miss, does cause a massive amount of suppression. Bazooka out, ammo stored hit. You have a Command Panzer III. I really don't like the Panzer IIIs. Well, at least not the Panzer III M or L. The Command Panzer has an accuracy of 4 on its main gun, and this one's unvetted. It is very inaccurate tank, and very weak. You do have a Pack 40 here, so that is something that can contend with the U.S. armor. Army rifles engaging Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjägers will generally win out because they have automatic rifles, as well as their own semi-automatics. The mortar half-track moving forward, that is a good option to help snipe away and pick off and surrender these units. Another medium bomber coming on in. We'll hit this Martyr 3. We do in fact have a Cromwell 7 out on the field. A large amount of allied armor here. You have 2 Martyr 3s with nearby officer of Veterancy 2. These can be very lethal. Could bring up that Veterancy 1 Firefly, which he is. Apparently does not have the Ace Pack. Not a problem. I don't care if you have the Ace Pack or not, but that would be, if you have it, Harrison. Harris? Just Harris, not Harrison. When I hear Harris, I think of Harrison Ford. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, do got another time on target. Still the 210. Well, neither side getting upper hand at the moment. Oh, but do got an air superiority fighter. No A in the area. The Focke-Wulf 90s are reasonably fast, but Spitfires are pretty fast as well. We do got P-51 Mustang with 650 cal machine guns. The Focke-Wulf 190 has 2 20 mils and 4 20 mils and 2 13s. The 13 the size of 50 cal is 12.7, so the Focke-Wulf 190 does have a better armament. Focke-Wulf would not escape out. The P-51s are just inaccurate in general. Ooh, we'll go and fall back, but we'll have an ME-109 on its tail, but it's ME-1 go, which means it only has 3 some machine guns. Actually, that's G6R6. What makes it different? Go the one that has all the weapons. Panzer II will not stand up against a Cromwell 7. We do have a Firefly with a nearby officer. It's a Dingo. We'll get a nice hit on that Panzer IV-J. Marder 3 is trying to get an angle onto it, but it has a hedge line intercepting it. The Firefly is repositioning when the Marder's firing upon it. We'll take out the AA unit. Firefly needs to stand and fight. The Panzer IV-J is out of range, and if he goes too close to the Marder 3, he'll probably be splashed and put back to suppression. This Chromo 6 can easily pitch in some more HE. In fact, it is being engaged by the Marder. We'll go ahead and get hit there. I mean, you can use a Chromo 6 against an unvetted Marder quite well, since you just have to rely it getting the first hit, causing massive suppression, causing great inaccuracy. Because after you get like each 10% of accuracy up to 40%, every 10% of suppression up to 40% will result in -1 accuracy, which means you can have -4 accuracy at maximum range. You can get a 0 hit chance basically unit. We have a second Firefly moving forward. That is a good amount of tank destroying capability. And the Marder 3s only have 13 armor penetration versus 11 armor. That is only a slight margin, while the Firefly will guarantee penetration on the Marder. We have a Stu-42, a very questionable position, I would say, in the middle of a town for an assault gun. Control is still 50-50. The northern side, still a large number of half tracks. A lot of infantry has been lost by the Allies, but it looks like a lot of infantry has been lost for the Axis. These half tracks are still around, which means they can prevent any sort of infantry advancement quite easily. You got a dogfight going in the air. When I say dogfight, I mean, yeah, it is a dogfight. It's 2 versus 3. Ooh, he can retask. Oh, he should have retasked that one in order to gauge it. I mean, there is some microing you can do in order to get your guys in the best, if they're running a good angle. And there's 4 Axis aircraft. The Allied aircraft needs an anti-aircraft support. He lost that previous Crusader, which is actually incredibly important in this dogfight. And these are the Spearhead. And these are 2 armored divisions. They don't have a huge amount of air support. Ooh, there goes the Veteran Tube 1 Firefly to the Marder 3. That Marder 3 is becoming very accurate. Every hit resulting in +1 accuracy. Looks like all the Allied aircraft may have been shot down. Really wasn't paying attention, but it most likely was the situation. A lot of units being resupplied. The Chromo does not have a huge amount of armor penetrating ammo, only 24 compared to its HE 40. Oh, this would be a great spot for the 210. I think he'd probably use up all the fire operations, pushing these guys back. All these 30 cals and 50 cals, if he puts them in this general field here, it will provide a massive amount of fire support. You got a Sherman Jumbo eyeing to break the siege up north. The US player does have a superior position. Does have a LMG rifles. They're equipped with 1919s, which do a massive amount of HE. 4 Allied machine guns. They're equivalent to MG42s, if not greater. Of course, they do have reduced rate of fire. Another Firefly is coming forward. We do have this Bedford supply, just fast moving to over here to the Chromo 6. But he has to be careful. That Marder 3 may have its lined up. And let's finally get something up here. And yes, there is a bit of smoke, and he looks like he's on the other side of the hedge line. You got the Stug 3, Veterancy 3 unit moving forward, which will quickly kill off anything that comes down this road. But he won't really push allied armor up that road anytime soon with all those AT, infantry held AT weapons. Now, we do have a time on target. It is a precision barrage. This can be quite powerful. We'll get some very, very good hits. Only a single half-track in that formation is not pinned down in order to prevent any sort of surrender. Use of these fireflies, only one of the Martyr 3s do remain. So it looks like the allies, they do have armor superiority on the south as well as the north. We do got a rocket run who actually was and is falling back. All the 50 cal super, quite a bit of suppression actually. Now the Sherman Jumbo is now making its advance. LMG rifles are moving forward, but they're running straight into the MGs of the Pioneers as well as Fulging Jaegers. Half-tracks coming in for some fire support. We do have a pair of Stug 3s, but the Sherman Jumbo is in a great, but does get a side armor hit, causing the wheels and tracks to be damaged. Have a Sherman 76mm with a nearby star veterancy, making a very lethal unit. And now both the Stugs are falling back. The Sherman Jumbo is wounded, safe at the moment. I do have a help beacon. I think he's... Oh no, that's the Axis player requesting potentially airstrike on the Jumbo, potentially. Do have a Tiger E out on the field. It does have 3 stars of veterancy thanks to nearby officer. These Fireflies can contend with it. They, on a stat-wise, on armor and armor penetration, they are equal. However, 0 stars of veterancy, 3 stars of veterancy. And while there's 2 of these guys, there's also a Martyr 3 to support with 2 stars of veterancy. All these MGs will go and suppress the Pack 40, no problem. All these units, and maybe actually a breakthrough in the northern parts. Battle phase sees when the allied players actually get a income at advantage of by 25. So by the end of a game of 40 minutes, the allies will sustain more income. All these half tracks, look at the field control on both sides. There's a lot more allied units. Thanks to all these half tracks, I would say. You got a Zis now out in the field. It is, of course, a Zis. No, that's not the Russian, not the Zis. I assumed it was. But it is a Russian artillery piece. Pack 40 is down to 2 members. There is an officer nearby to help inspire it to push harder, fight harder, and to take out half tracks. You got reinforcing Tiger E coming on out. It is a very hard thing for the US player to deal with. He doesn't have any 17 pounders. We do got a bazooka, not bazooka, and directly engaging the half track potentially. There goes the Pack 40. Rocket one will go on. Come on in. We'll do quite a bit of suppression. I'm not a big fan of these rockets. They don't really all do too much. They're anti-tank rockets, but there's only 2 of them. They're not the Typhoon ATs, and able to snipe Panzer 3s, Panzer 4s on the side, as well as Stugs on the side. We do have +1 income for the allies, and that is just enough if they were to maintain it of winning the game. So he needs to perhaps potentially push up here, a couple with at least a rifleman in order to gauge this strong trooping. Perhaps push forward with the reconnaissance unit. Pack 40 has come in to reinforce the area. We'll go ahead and hit the officer pool. I'll try to anyways. We'll take out the half track there. We do have a large number of reinforcing infantry. I think these are all Flamming Jaegers. They're 1-star veterancy. And thanks to the nearby cannons, these Shermans do have 5 HE on their main gun. That is a very lethal gun, which will quickly suppress a Pack 40, along with the 50 cals. We do got a B3 coming on in, getting a whole lot of suppression. It's really hard to tell what he's actually aiming for. I think he was aiming for the 76, engine destroyed on it. No anti-aircraft in the field. And I think they're all out of air superiority fighters as well. Which means this is a good position for the Normandy player. He can bring in some heavy bombers and annihilate the formations. We do have a Veteran 1 Achilles coming in. He could bring in some Fireflies, but I don't think he can bring any veteran Fireflies. Tiger tank versus 17-pounder. Well, the 17-pounder can... it's probably going to just pitch in some HE damage. It probably won't get the kill on it, but will at least get a good weakened position for the Fireflies to engage. They're firing against something down there. Tiger E plus Panzer 4J now move forward. Panzer 4J has to be very careful because it has a very bad turret traverse rate. So it needs to be make sure it's running towards the enemy with its turret facing forward. There is a bazooka here, but he is pinned down. There's a large group in formation, not exactly spread out, very vulnerable to a heavy bomber. There goes a Sherman tank there. The Sherman Jumbo is still alive, so there's something very resilient still left. Oh, the heavy bomber, like I said. This is going to wreak havoc on the formation. It killed off the weakened Sherman tank, I believe. As well as forcing multiple of those guys falling back. We'll come on in. It is a Typhoon AT. We'll snipe that Stug in one run. That's why Typhoon ATs are really good. They can quickly take out a unit. But like if anything with suppression, the best way to deal with it have any sort of AT or anti-aircraft in the area, because once you get just a little bit of suppression on, it will make the thing very inaccurate, and it must rely on accuracy in order to get those hits. The village is still largely in favor of the Flamming Jaegers. However, you can always bring in some Calliopes to really barrage the area. U.S. armor is starting to regroup. He needs to actually bring them back. He can't really contend with a Tiger tank at the moment in the Panzer 4J to support. He does have the Jumbo, but aiming at this range so the Tiger tank can penetrate it in the frontal armor. He will get a kill onto the Tiger tank. Very, very good. Of course, it was a 76mm. And at that range with 2 stars of veterancy, like there, it was like 70-70 at least. Panzer 4J has been damaged. No ammo remaining. So this may be a collapse on the northern flank for the allied players. And they're still at +1 at a very nice 56%. The Guards armor player just needs to hold the line at least, if not push forward. it does have to contend with a Tiger tank. All the supporting martyrs are now down. It does have a huge line of 17-pounders, most of them on mobile chassis, in order to gauge any sort of armor in this area. So the Guards armor player is largely winning here. The only area they're not winning is the central town, which that's not important at the moment. You have some M15s to move forward. M15s are a very good mobile suppression unit. It's like, I would say, generally the best vehicle-mounted air suppression platform, because you got the single 1,000-meter range. It's not the Bofors, but it is incredibly slightly better than Bofors. The only thing difference between this gun and the Bofors is +1 rate of fire, as in it's 92 versus 93. And then you got +2 decals to support. And it only costs 20 more for additional, also 3 armor rather than unarmored. You got these Fireflies and the Artillery moving forward with the support of a Cromwell command tank. The Tiger tank is being overwhelmed. Pack 38 is trying to engage. Only thing you can penetrate the frontal armor at max range is the Cromwell 7. Huge amount of fire support for it. You got a Panzer 35 moving forward, slowly picking away at these infantry units that have no AT weapons. This Tiger tank has its transmission damage, so its days are numbered. Horse firing the ground, thinking the Pack 38 is still there, but it's actually falling in the fallback state. It is actually sort of suppressing the mortar half-track as well. Pair of Sherman tanks moving forward with 11 armor. Very good tank. 1-star veterancy as well. And we do have the Sherman, very good armor presence in the area. Though there is still this reconnaissance Panzerstruck unit still in the area, which can quickly snipe a unit. As well as some railway artillery coming on in. Not enough suppression, anti-aircraft to suppress the bomber, but if you were to move those guys a little bit far forward, if you potentially would. The bomber went down to the anti-aircraft fire. These, with nearby officer, these guys are incredibly lethal with those 50 cals and the 37 millimeter. Of mechanized units are moving forward to claim as much ground. Tiger engaged by these armored forces. These guys are running low on HE, but the Pack 38 will manage to score a kill there. Pair of Panzer 4Js are now moving forward and reinforced. They're slightly outgunned versus tank destroyers. The artillery, of course, has only 8 armor, so that Pack 38 did get a nice, good hit. Rocket Run comes on in, trying to hit the half track here. Maybe I don't see the other Stug that reinforced it, so May actually took out the other Stug. Rocket plane will go and get shot down by the huge amount of anti-aircraft, apparently. But I don't. This Cromwell has 2 50s. Oh no, they're Bezras. Beza. Not 50s. I'm not so sure. I only see the Crusader AA. What else is in the area could actually is anti-aircraft? Oh, there is a couple Crusaders. But now it looks like the Allied players are now +2. This game is going in their favor quickly. No armor left in the north, which it's a really hard map, I guess, the Flamming player, I guess, didn't bring in as much air support. I mean, he could have brought in a battle phase A, B3, and perhaps some battle phase B3s in order to gauge some armor. Really only saw the one, and got quite a bit of damage. Not getting any kills. I would say generally the best anti-tank unit that flies around is actually the Ju-87G. Is it? It has two guns, so it has twice the chance of getting any hits, while it does have less armor penetration. The SS Panzer Grenadier, who really does make usage of that aircraft, also have efficiency 1s, so they're very lethal. Like, both guns have like 50% chance to hit, but times 2, so it's like highly likely chance of hit. Nice bit of suppression coming on in from that Sexton. You had the Sherman 5 as well as Cromwell 7 to engage this Panzer 4. Cromwell 7 will get the first shot off and will get a lethal hit. German tanks supporting now another row, eyeing to push forward in multiple flanks. Very nice, very nice. Do that actually finally have a Flak 36 coming out on the field. I suppose he did not need to worry about anti-aircraft, but hitting those tanks would have been quite nice. So he did have to contend with the M21, though a heavy bomber would have easily taken that out. There's always possibilities. I can't really gig for players choosing one thing, not choosing the other, because you always have to worry about the Calliopes as well, which his opponent didn't have any real reason to bring those in because there's no emplacements or AT guns he really had to worry about, mostly just scattered infantry forces. We have a Sherman tank back here, as well as a Stuart from the Spearhead player. He sort of forgot about it, not a huge problem. Nice bombing is the light Focke-Wulf 190 bomber with like 4-5 HE bombs. Not a good bomber. Astro Struben still behind the lines, ordering, we'll just stay here and let the Allied forces pass, I guess. Looks like the Luftlanding player has in fact surrendered. I mean, the game's pretty much over. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. And looks like actually the other player surrendered as well. It's pretty much that. It was pretty much over, yeah. Let's see who did well. You got an even for the guard's armor, and quite a handed victory for the Spearhead, which means the Luftlanding player a little bit out of his element. Actually, wow, both of these Axis players had equal amount of kills, and actually a significant amount of losses, so that Spearhead player did quite well. Oh, I always wonder, how on earth do you get 2s? I mean, it's 2. Everything's divisible by 5. Oh well. Let's see what performed quite well. Sherman tank did take out Martyr 3, which is a tank destroyer versus a tank. Sherman Jumbo took out multiple AT guns, infantry held weapons, as well as a Panzer IV and a light tank. Tiger only got a handful of half-tracks and a couple infantry squads. Not too effective, and everything else not so great. So yeah, this is Agion saying thank you for watching and signing off.